morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. Let us begin. Mm, Uh, okay. Today, little bit, the revision part, creativity, out of box thinking, lateral thinking, motivation factors, self talk, intrinsic and eccentric motivators. Okay, fine. So, little bit I'll be doing the revision, which is very important for you, is the self concept, that is self esteem and self efficacy. That portion. Once again, I'm going to just do a little bit of revision. The personality traits, personality factors in organization. Okay. Determinants to personality. Okay, once again, I repeat this portion. Determinants of personality. Determinants to personality are heredity. I mean, the factors which influence the shaping of our personality. Okay, they are termed as determinants to personality or determinants of personality, as you say. They are actually the various factors which influence the shaping of our personality. Chief among these are heredity, culture, family background, our experiences through life, and the people we interact with. Clear? Now, taking one by one, how heredity influences our personality? Let's see that. There are some genetic factors which play a part in determining certain aspects of what we tend to become. Whether we are tall or short, experience good health or ill health, are quickly irritable or patient, are all characteristics which can, in many cases, be traced to heredity. Sometimes we see that in our family, if the father is very dominating, obviously, very quickly we find that the child also grows up when he turns out to be a man, he grows up also like his father. The nature turns out to be like his father. So, but this is not always an obvious case, but there are all possibilities for that. Yeah, there are all chances and high possibilities for that. So these are the factors. This is how genetic factors influence one's personality, how heredity influences, and how heredity plays a very crucial, vital role in shaping and forming one's character. Now, culture. The cultural values we are surrounded by significantly tend to shape our personal values and predisposition. The cultural values. Clear? The cultural values we are surrounded by significantly tend to shape our personal values and predisposition. Thus, people born in different cultures have different personalities. This is very obvious. People, the culture of, say, the culture of the Europeans differ from the Orientalists. That is, we, the Orientalists. Clear? And the Europeans are also often called Occidentals. So the culture of Orientalists varies from the culture and differs from the culture of the Occidents, the Occidentals. Clear? So thus people born in different cultures have different personalities, which significantly influence their behavior. People in the West, for instance, generally tend to be more assertive than people in Oriental cultures. Clear? The third one is the family background. The socio-economic status of the family, the number of children in the family and birth order, and the background and education of the parents and extended members of the family, such as uncles and aunts, influence the shaping of personality to a considerable extent. Experiences in life, whether one trusts or mistrusts others, is, miserly or generously, has a high or low esteem. And the like is at least partially related to the past experiences the individual has had. Very obvious. A person we interact with, a person is known by the company he or she keeps, is a common adage. The implication is that people influence each other and tends to associate with members who are more like them in their attitudes and values. From childhood, the people we interact with influence us. First, our parents and siblings, then our teachers and classmates, later our friends and colleagues, and so on. The influence of these various individuals and groups shape our personality. Clear? In sum, our personality is a function of both heredity and other external factors that shape it. It is important to know what specific personality predisposition influence work behavior. Clear? Very important. Now, the personality traits. Now we have seen the intuitive thinkers, sensation thinkers, thinking and feeling. Intuitive feeders are there, feelers, sensation feelers. Now these are something we will not go much into details. We'll just, touch the points, major points, and we are going to discuss on that. Now, personality traits are very, and this chapter is very, very important for this year. Clear? Very, very important for this year. I've set several questions for the model paper that I have given to my Mac out based on personality. This is a very important chapter, so please pay a good attention and a good focus on this paper. Okay. Personality traits. Personality traits are very important in organizational behavior. In particular, 5 personality traits, especially related to job performance, have recently emerged from research studies. Characteristics of these traits can be summarized as follows. You remember the 5 personality traits: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, openness to experience. Clear? Once again, I repeat: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, openness to experience. Clear? These are the personality traits. Now, the development of personality. Now, personality development. Now, the personality development of an individual starts at birth and continues throughout his life. 3 major type of factors play important roles in personality development. They are the determinants, the stages, and the traits. Determinants, stages, and the traits. Traits to personality are also based on psychology. According to some trait theories, all people share common traits. Which are the common traits that every individual share? Students, they are social, political, religious, aesthetic preference, but each individual's nature differentiates that person from others. This is very obvious. The nature of Shayanto is different from the nature of Rahul. So is the nature of Shayanton is different from the nature of Rituparna. So all different traits and different personality. So obviously it varies. The traits, that is common political, religious, and aesthetic preference, but each individual's nature differentiates that person from other. These are the parameters which makes a person different. That is politically different, religiously different, aesthetical preference difference on the difference based on aesthetic preference, and this is the major thing. Now, Sigmund Freud, very eminent, all-time world's greatest psychologist. Freudian psychology, he has described Freudian psychology, which progresses through 4 stages: dependent, compulsive, Oedipal, and mature. Dependent means some people are very emotionally, morally, physically dependent on some person. Compulsive, very rigid, very compulsive, very rigid, very firm, aggressive. Clear? Then Oedipal complex. You know, Oedipal, this term is where this term, I think many of you know, the term Oedipal has been derived from the famous Oedipus Rex, okay, of Julius Caesar, who Oedipus, had a affinity. What was the story of Oedipus Rex? Rex. Oedipus murdered his father and married his mother. So a kind of attachment to excessive blind attachment towards mother of a son towards a mother is often termed as the Oedipal complex. Clear? Understood? Now, personality factors in organization. the neat pattern, locus of control. Clear? These are the personality factors, the neat pattern, the need for achievement, the need for affiliation, the need for autonomy, the need for dominance. Clear? And what is locus of control? Locus of control is the degree to which an individual believes that his or her behavior has direct impact on the consequences of that behavior. And this is locus of control. Locus of control is the degree to which an individual believes, that his or her behavior has direct impact on the consequences of that behavior. Some people, for example, believe that if they work hard, they will certainly succeed. That is believing on the hard work, that is believing on that nature, that if yes, I'm a very sincere resource, that I will definitely succeed in my life. But for that, you also need to be a little bit wise. You need to apply your wisdom also. Is it okay? Now they are said to have an internal locus of control. By contrast, some people think that what happens to them is a result of fate, chance, luck, or the behavior of other people, rather than the lack of skills or poor performance on their part. Because these individuals think that forces beyond their control dictate the happenings around them. They are said to have an external locus of control. Clear? So you understood the difference between internal locus of control and external locus of control. Internal locus means when people think that yes, my thinking very much tallies with my behavior. For example, they believe that if I work hard, yes, I will definitely succeed. So this assertive sometimes is assertive and affirmative is called the internal locus. External locus means when people start giving up. When people start giving up by thinking that yes, whatever has happened because of, as a result of fate, as a result of the chance, as a result of lack of bad luck, ill fate, destiny. Clear? Which is beyond their control, beyond their dictations, dictate the happenings around them, which is beyond that, which is uncontrollable. They are called external locus of control. So understood the internal locus of control and the external locus of control. Clear? Now, introversion and extroversion. Introversion is the tendency of individuals which directs them to be inward and process feelings, thoughts, ideas within themselves. And extroversion, on the contrary, extroversion, we have the intrinsic and extrinsic motivators, as I told you. The introversion means, I told you that introversion is a tendency of individuals which directs them to be inward and process of feelings, thoughts, ideas within themselves. And extroversion, on the contrary, refers to the tendency in individuals to look outside themselves, searching for external stimuli with which they can interact. While there is some element of introversion as well as extroversion in all of us, people tend to be dominant as they're extroverts or introverts. Extroverts are sociable, lively, gregarious, and seek outward stimuli or external exchanges. Such individuals are likely to be more successful while working in the sales department, publicity office, and other hands, are quiet, reflective, introspective, and intellectual people, preferring to interact with a small, intimate circle of friends. Introverts are more likely to be successful when they can work on high abstract ideas such as R&D work in a relatively quiet atmosphere. And some managers have to constantly interact with the individuals both in and out of the organization and influence people to achieve the organizational goals. It is believed that extroverts are likely to be more successful as managers. Because a manager always needs to interact. A manager cannot work on its own. A manager has to influence the other employees, has to motivate the other employees. A manager cannot just remain mum and work within himself. If a manager does so, he will be considered as a less effective manager. If a manager does so, if a manager is very extrovert, it means that he's interactive. He can understand and empathize the nature, the likings, the wants, the desires, the requirements of his fellow colleagues or his subordinates under whom he is and for whom he is working, and those who are working under him. So completely, are you getting my point, all of you students? Yes, this is how things has to work out. Clear? Okay. So self-esteem, once again, we did the introversion and extroversion. We now the self-esteem and self-concept. Self-esteem denotes the extent to which individuals consistently regard themselves as capable, successful, important, and worthy individuals. And self-esteem is an important personality factor that determines how managers perceive themselves and their role in the organization. Self-esteem is important to self-concept, such that the way individuals define themselves as to why they are and derive their sense of identity. High self-esteem provides high sense of self-concept. Clear? High self-esteem provides high sense of self-concept, which in turn reinforces high self-esteem. Thus, the two are mutually reinforcing. Individuals with a high self-esteem will try to take on more challenging assignments and be successful. Thus, they will be enhancing their self-concept such that they would tend to define themselves as highly valued individuals in the organizational system. The higher the self-concept and self-esteem, the greater will be their contributions to the goals of the organization, especially when the system rewards them for their contributions. Clear? This you have to remember. Now, authoritarianism and dogmatism. Authoritarianism and dogmatism. Authoritarianism is the extent to which an individual believes that power and status differences are important within hierarchical social systems like organizations. For example, an employee who is highly authoritarian may accept directives or orders from his superior without much questioning. A person who is not highly authoritarian might agree to carry out appropriate and reasonable directives from his boss. But he may also raise questions, express disagreement, and even refuse to carry out requests if they are, for some reason, objectionable. Clear? Dogmatism is the rigidity of a person's belief and his or her openness to other viewpoints. The popular term close-minded and open-minded describe people who are more and less dogmatic in their beliefs respectively. For example, students, a manager may be unwilling to listen to new idea, that is novelty, or new conceptions or new ideas related to doing something more efficiently. He is said to be a person who is close-minded or highly dogmatic. Very stigma mindset that I'm not going to go beyond anything. This is my parameter, you have to follow this. You cannot afford to go beyond that. Or you cannot bring in, actually, dogmatic people cannot accept changes. Dogmatic people cannot accept transformations. This reminds me of I'm just deviating from the mainstream syllabus. This reminds me of the famous iconoclast, that is George Bernard Shaw, my all-time favorite columnist, propagandist, iconoclast, dramatist, playwright. We all have read the dramas of George Bernard Shaw, Arms and the Man, Pygmalion, Major Barbara. Clear. So, why during the time of George Bernard Shaw, the 19th century, society, there was no television, there was very less media. Drama was used as a tool or an instrument for bringing out the shams, follies, and foibles of the then society of England and Europe. Clear? You understand my point, students. And George Bernard Shaw was a what is iconoclast? I was continuously using it might, always it might strike you. And I always expect that my students will tell me, ma'am, tell me the meaning of this word or give an explanation. I'll be more than happy to, answer. Iconoclasts are whenever you tend to break any image or a set image or a set pattern which had been following for a very long time, people turn. For example, taking this year's experience, owing to COVID-19, there were several people who were against the celebration of Durga Puja. Yes, but people were so dog. Some people are so very, and majority are all decisions are based on majority and minority. So based on majority and minority of acceptance. So majority of them, they said, why? Then there will be something more serious and something more, Hellenic on earth if Durga Puja at all won't be held. This is a common belief of the people. You remember Charles Darwin, Origin of the Species, publication of the Origin of the Species, totally shook the Christian world. So there was a division, there had been a division between the Roman Catholics and the Catholics and the normal Christians. Clear? The Catholics, Puritans, the normal Christians. They believe that
Protestants, no?
Yes, they were the Protestants. Yes, absolutely. Protestants and the Catholics always, yeah, the Roman Catholics, and the Protestants always. The Puritans were also there. You remember the Puritans? The
Yes,
Puritans or
ma'am.
the Puritans or the Protestants. Puritans were also sometimes called the Protestants whenever they raised their voice and they protested against certain set beliefs and set norms. If you have to change anything, always there is a difference. So Charles Darwin, Origin of the Species, totally shook the world of Christianity and the entire religions. That what was the main thing? That evolution of the theory of humanity. That there is a species which there's a biological factor which is behind the creation of human beings and creation of all other creatures on earth. Whereas Christianity, the pure Christianity, the Roman, the staunch, the Orthodox Christians, the Catholics, they believe that it is Jesus Christ or the God, the Savior, who creates mankind. So obviously there was a sector who started protesting, and this is how things. So even this was much before, and after that came George Bernard Shaw, always bringing out there was a Salvation Army which used to do a lot of corrupt activities during those the 20th century, late 19th and 20th century of England, and also the whole parts, the different parts of the world. তোমরা যদি ওই ক্যালকাটা বয়েজের সামনে দারগা রোড দিয়ে যাও দেখবে একটা অনেক in several places of central Kolkata you'll find the small hoarding of a Salvation Army written in very old alphabetical letters. Understood? সেই Salvation Army the main intention of the Salvation Army was to save the orphanage, was to help the poor and the needy, those the daily wage earners who didn't get the daily wages. But it also had a lot of malpractices, and that is the reason. And this I gave a long explanation for bringing out the dogmatic. This was the dogmatic belief, and Bernard Shaw always used his drama to reach the minds of the common people by showing and exhibiting and showcasing the difference between morality, immorality, rationality. Clear? Even in remote villages, you see the jatra, those typical dramas and plays, one-act plays are held. Why? Because they are not educated people. They are not educated people. So what the main thing? The drama, by seeing visualization, audio-visual plays a very important role. Okay, understood. Risk, propensity, then Machiavellianism. So what are we doing all these things? These are actually personality factors. Yes. These are actually personality factors. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So these are actually the personality factors. Understood? These are actually the personality factors that we are doing. And another factor was Machiavellianism. Machiavellianism. Now, Machiavellianism is what? Machiavelli was also famous. Who was Machiavelli? A Greek philosopher? Machiavellianism is a concept derived from Machiavelli, is manipulating or influencing other people as a primary way of achieving one's goal. Machiavelli was a very clever, shrewd diplomat who always used to manipulate the other people as a primary way of achieving one's goal. An individual tends to be Machiavellian if he tends to be logical in assessing the system around, willing to twist and turn facts to influence others and try to gain control of people, events, and situations by manipulating the system to his advantage. So this is what Machiavellianism is. Clear? If you're asked to write short notes about Machiavellianism, I'm sure you'll be able to answer. Clear? Okay. So work ethic orientation. Yes, work ethic orientation. So these are the terms you will require throughout your life. Work ethic orientation. Some individuals are highly work oriented while others try to do the minimum work that is necessary to get by without being fired on the job. The extremely work oriented person gets greatly involved in the job. Extreme work ethic values could lead to traits of workaholics, whether work is considered as the only primary motive for living with very little outside interest. Clear? For a workaholic, turning to work can sometimes become a viable alternative to facing non-work related problems. A high level of work ethic orientation in members is good for the organization to achieve its goals. While type A persons help the organization to move ahead in a relatively short period of time. Clear? So these things you have to remember. Too much workaholic, however, might lead to premature physical and mental exhaustion and health problems, which is dysfunctional for both organizations and the workaholic members. The above 10 different personality predispositions are important for individual, managerial, and organizational effectiveness. Clear? So are you all understanding, students? Everything? Is it clearly understandable? Okay, okay. Fine. So always you have to remember these things. The big 5 personality dimensions: extrovertism, emotional stability, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and openness to experience. This can be, the factors can be high or low, depending on the nature of the person. High what is the example or manifestation? What is the external manifestation of highly extroverted person? Talkative, active, very sociable, talkative, active, assertive, gregarious. And a person with low extrovertism, that is less extrovert, that is not very introvert, but very less extrovert. I mean, you can call less extrovert as an introvert also. That is reserved. The nature will be, the external manifestation of an introvert person will be reserved, quiet, very introverted. Less extrovertism is introvertism. Clear? Emotional stability. Person with high stability, how will be the nature of that person? With very high emotional stability, calm, relaxed, very secured. Person with low, worried, depressed, anxious, insecure, angry, embarrassed. Clear? Person with high agreeableness, very cooperative, tolerant, good natured, trusting, courteous, and caring. And person with low agreeableness, very irrational. Clear? Person with high conscientiousness, dependable, thorough, organized, responsible, playful, achievement oriented, hardworking. And person with low conscientiousness, sloppy, careless, and inefficient. Openness to experience. Person with high openness to experience, very curious to know, learn, intelligent, broad-minded, creative, imaginative, cultured. Person with low openness to experience, simple, unimaginative, and conventional. Now, students, some dimensions have practical implications for organization and management. For example, some research found extrovertism is positively related to positive affect or attitudes. Other research found conscientious is negatively related to absenteeism and tardiness. Clear? Understood. So we are doing a nice revision today. It's, if we can complete our syllabus on time, we can do a lot of things. Yes. Now, individual difference in personality. Now, traditional difference between traditional CEO and entrepreneurial e-business, CEO. For example, a traditional entrepreneurial CEO is, traditional CEO is encouraging, and entrepreneurial is very evangelizing. How evangelizing means very rational, open. I am a CEO. For that, it's nothing like that. Maintains a very down to earth and groundly rooted, natured person. Clear? Traditional CEO suffers from technology, and e-CEO, clear, of e-business CEO, will suffers from bandwidth. This is something very important, very funny and interesting. Traditional CEO, confrontation is very confrontation anxiety, and e-CEO, separation anxiety. Understood? Okay. That's it. Okay. So I stop today. I'll be giving in these vacations, I mean, these 2 or 3 days holidays that we have, all the materials and everything I'll upload in Moodle, and obviously there will be a class assessment and I'll tell you everything. Beforehand, I'll tell you everything, what you have to do. And so questions will be set mostly from personality part, bargaining, those things, those chapters on which I'm giving more emphasis. Questions will be set. So before the, after I set the question for the CA10 and all, I'll have a, we'll have a brush up session before that. Don't worry. Is it okay? Because next Tuesday, as usual, we are having classes. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, normal. We are not missing any classes. We will be having, as usual, classes on this coming Tuesday as well as on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, then. Let's call it a day. Anything that you didn't understand today's portion, please, students, please feel free to ask if you want to discuss anything. Next day, I mean, after I complete little bit, and after we are done with the CA assessments, I really want to, just share. I mean, this will definitely help you to improve your English vocabulary, your interest, try to, ignite your interest in English studies. I'll just, one of my most favorite poems of T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, we know, was a little, it was more of an essayist, but some modern poems, like the Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, where the modern, where there's a sarcasm, a direct ironical hit on the then Boston Society of the Boston Society, the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Society, the Boston Estate has been ridiculed and sarcastic totally. So lovely poem. So they will definitely, certain poems I'm going to discuss with you. You will definitely enjoy. It'll all be one way. It's all out of the syllabus, but definitely they have a direct impact on the entrepreneurship. So I will discuss them. সিলেবাস হয়ে গেছে, আমাদের রিভিশন টিভিশন করব, তার মধ্যে আমরা কিছু এই কেন এটা করাবো, যাতে তোমাদের ইন ফিউচার ইউ উইল রিকোয়ার when you yourself will be a resource working for an organization. How people run after fake things, how people are, they run after superficial knowledge, how they just touch the periphery without going in depth. So those things have been ridiculed, and the language, trust me, students, is mesmerizing and mind-boggling. They were the poems when I used to read and learn in my honors and masters. They used to just give a lot of joy. So I'll just share some of them, which will have a direct effect on you making a good entrepreneur, fully loaded with entrepreneurial ironies and sarcasm. Clear? Am I clear? Okay. So quickly take the attendance. Debaroti 9118, Niladri 8063, Priti, Rahul,
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul Kumar, Rajoshri 8053, Rituparna 9117, Sagnik 8049, Sakshi 8048, Sanjeet 8046, Shankorshan, then Santam 8044, Shantanu 8043, Shorbori 9119, Shathi 91110, Shayon 8039, Shayoni 8037, Shayanto 8036, Shayanton 8034, Shivam 8031, Shraddha 8030, Srija 8029, Sneha 8027, Shomoshruta 8025,
26.
26, yes, 8026, Shobhik 8024, Shoumo 8022, Shourodip 8021, Srijita 8019, Shubhojit 8018, Sucharita 8017, Sudeep 8016, Sudeep once again 9114, Shumon 8014, Suraj Kumar 9121, Shushmita 8012, Sweetie is 8010, that is 80110, 8010 is Sweetie, Tonmoy 8008, another Tonmoy 9120. I think all your names are called. No one is left. Is it, students?
Yes, ma'am.
35 of you are present. Very poor attendance. Attendance is something very important, marks will be deducted from the internals if the attendance, because we have got the instructions. So please, those who are not attending classes, please just pass on the information to them. The overall impression depends on the attendance, how you're attending the class and everything. So please be very serious about that. I can't help myself because everything is now, being recorded and everything is digitalized. So these informations cannot be manipulated. So please be very serious and careful. Okay. Okay. Let's call it a day. Bye bye. Take care and enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas, ma'am.
Yes, and we meet again on coming Tuesday. Clear? With our normal schedule. And please, we'll be having the lab also from 3:30 on coming Tuesday, as well as the theory class first. So lab, the PowerPoint presentations on the topics provided yesterday on the marketing and selling of a concept or a product, very nicely and decently it has to be done and given. Clear? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay then.